And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Kayfabe Chats. I'm, of course, Jordan Pierce Owens, where I sit down with one of my broskies and we talk about the world of professional wrestling. This week, I'm joined by none other than Corey C4.
What's up, Jordan? How's it going today? How's it going this week? How have you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. As good as can be right now here. You know, hopefully, maybe we're towards the end of the stretch. Some stuff in Florida is opening up little by little, so we'll see here, man.
It's getting a little more hopeful than it's been. That's for sure.
Just a tidbit, man, and you know, we got some interesting notes and newsworthy segments this week. Let's hear. Let's start talking off. We're filming this Monday right before Monday Night Raw here. A little bit of rumors of some returns tonight. You know, we'll see if that's true or not. Let's talk Becky Lynch. Have you heard that she's been casted in an upcoming Marvel film? And this is on top of already being slated to appear on the premiere of Billions over at Showtime. So Becky Lynch, the man, is now might be a movie star and a TV star.
She is. I'll tell you, man. She's got the look. She's got the voice. She could pull it off if anybody could. If anybody's in a crossover kind of spot right now, I think she's probably the best person in line. She does a good job. I saw the clips of her on Billions.
I didn't see the clips.
I saw the Kayfabe shit one, and I thought that was fun. No, I'm very happy for her. I'm a big fan of Becky Lynch, so I've liked her since before the man came around. She was always one of my favorite performers, so I'm glad to see all the good stuff happening to her. Hope that this Marvel thing, I don't know what it could be, but it's that's always a good thing too. Anytime you get Marvel, that's a good thing.
I just hope it's a meatier role than what Roman got in Hobbs and Shaw, where he's just a background character.
One, but was he just essentially background? Yeah,
I don't think
really hyped him up to be more than background.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if his stuff got cut. Or if there even ever was anything, because I think he just yells with The Rock at one point.
And they're gonna have the leaky edition at some point, and it'll be the special leaky edition that comes out.
Isn't it Leake?
Is it Leake? I'm sorry, I don't leaky. I'm
leaky just sounds.
I'm horrible.
It sounds weird.
I'm not trying to be mean. I just didn't know how to pronounce it.
I don't watch Billions, although I do love Damian Lewis and Paul Giamatti. So I'll watch that episode.
Yeah,
I'll watch that episode.
I guess that'll probably be a good way to see what it's all about. You know, that's how you bring another another audience anyway.
It's not a bad idea, man. You know, there's wrestling fans will follow, and so
definitely.
Did you ever see The Last Marine with her?
No, I did not, but I've heard that she was a good bad guy in it.
I think it's the last one, and I thought she was perfectly fun in it. The Miz has actually always been really good in those as well. Actually,
I like the Miz. I'm a big Miz fan too.
It's the best face turn he's ever had, because the face turns on TV have been there.
They've never really worked out too well. Yeah,
I believed him in the Marine, man. He was likable and charming.
Does he? I never thought of this until just now. Does he turn face every time a new Marine movie comes out?
Not necessarily, because I can only think of really two face runs.
Okay.
Stuff with Shane,
right. I dug that stuff. I was all about that stuff.
I dug it, but he never got his revenge. He lost.
No, that was the end was the worst part about it, but the whole build up towards it, I thought was.
No, I was fine with the man. Shane's an entertaining guy, and he can have entertaining matches. So I was fine with the build up, but I was just so surprised that it ended with Shane just won.
It was nice to see a different level to the Miz's character too that we hadn't really seen.
That was his best, the face on the one that was a couple years before that. I can't even remember what he did.
When Ric Flair gave him the figure four.
I was just about to say Flair, right?
That was when Flair was his manager or his mentor or something.
It just that didn't gel well. But when you went with the real life, hey, he's messing with his family, it's something that you can relate to, and so I thought he did well with that. So I'm not sure how we got on the Miz. So we were talking about Becky Lynch.
He's awesome. So whenever you can talk about the Miz, appreciate it.
Yeah, I think I met him once. He has a very lazy autograph. It's like a smiley face and an M or something like that. I don't know. I thought it was a very tiny autograph.
Millions. When you are signing thousands of autographs, you want to have a pretty good one that you can just kind of.
Yeah, true. I was gonna say that wasn't thousands that day. It was a small FCW show, but he's probably used to doing things. So SmackDown was talking this week. It looks like the men and the women's Money in the Bank matches all at once
That's crazy.
It doesn't look like we're gonna have, the women's or the men's first, and then matches, and then the women's. It looks like they're just
It's gonna happen throughout the entire time.
How many people
I
is
think
it?
is the match is the 6 each, so there's gonna be 12.
12 people just
12
battling.
people
Is
climbing all the way up Titan Towers, all the way up to the top of the building in a ring onto ladders. I'm assuming to grab the briefcases, all at the same time.
Now I'm interested. I am
totally. My interest is peaked on this one, dude. Like I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
Yeah. I give them props. Obviously, if things were normal and you had this in an arena, you'd have to do it in the arena for the fans buying tickets.
You really, you could.
Now you have a way to
what they're doing, yeah.
And so, but now I'm curious. Is there going to be 2 briefcases? Is there going to be a woman grabbing it, a man grabbing it, or is it just going to be whoever gets it first?
I would imagine they would probably have 2 briefcases. They would have one, maybe 6 feet away from the other one. And topical, I know, right? You got to stay, on the line anyway. I'm getting off of it. But yeah, I think there's going to be probably 2 briefcases. I could see that happening. And there's going to be some intermingling and perhaps even just the littlest hint of intergender stuff. Who knows? So
they've teased it before with Nia Jax and people. So I don't know.
I think if they were going to do it, now's the time to do it, especially since they're all going to be fighting at the same time. It's I'm interested in seeing how the climb through the building goes, because there's going to be any John McClane diehard mode. There has to be a John McClane diehard mode.
I want there to be some gags. I want them to go to
booby traps and shit. Yeah, the whole 9 yards. I want all of it, man.
Find the dinosaur bones in Vince's office. Find IRS doing the taxes.
Somebody's gonna walk in on the boogeyman because he's always in that freaking place.
I don't even want him doing anything creepy too. I just want boogeyman and catering.
Just eating regular food. He's not even eating worms anymore. He's just eating a salad or something.
Just the boogeyman, the goon, and Mantar. Just all
it's perfect. Man. Yep.
We'll see Shane. Shane's like, oh hey guys.
Shane's gonna jump from the top of the fucking building. Oh, excuse me, the building, and I always cuss too much when I'm on your show. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's so sorry. Fucking fuck.
Yeah, well, there we go then. Never fucking mind. Shane's gonna jump from the top of the Titan Towers and land on Kevin Owens on top of a car just because.
Just because. Well, I was gonna say you go the best in the world round, just have Shane win it
and win he's like, I did it. I was here. I was just visiting. The helicopter that he crashed that crashed into the water. He has a helicopter bit, and it's kind of like playing off of that. So he jumps out of the helicopter, climbs up the ladder, or he lands on the ladder from the. Okay, never mind. I'm getting ridiculous here now.
Some great fantasy booking we got going on here. I love it all.
Got a little too excited and deep on that one. Sorry about that.
How mad would you be if they pulled a last year and they just had Brock Lesnar come in at the last second and win it?
I think that would be ridiculous. So I probably wouldn't be too happy for that. No. Although I do like Boombox Lesnar.
That's it. Yeah.
That was entertaining. But I don't want to see Brock Lesnar win it. I wouldn't. That being said, I don't know. I haven't really thought about too much about. I've been so excited about Drew McIntyre being WWE champion.
Oh man,
he's been great, man. I love the way they've been setting up him and Seth. I'm totally getting away from what we were talking about, though.
No, not at all. I mean, that's another big part of Money in the Bank. We're coming up here. We'll probably do another episode probably before it if we can sneak it in. If not, we'll do
Sunday, right?
Recap. Now it's this Sunday. Yeah. My days are all blended in. I'm like, no, 2 Sundays from now. Oh wait, we passed the first Sunday.
Man. It's the era of the Roni, so days run together a lot.
Yeah, we're on the go home week now. The last Raw and SmackDowns beforehand. We'll find. I was going to talk about this in a second. We'll find out about who replaces Apollo. Well, we'll get to that in a second. First, some sad news, of course, is a week after, or 2 weeks after Black Wednesday, we said goodbye to Curtis Axel has been released. Given his future endeavors, of course, the son of the legendary Mr. Perfect. What are your thoughts about Curtis? With the timing, first of all, and then just in general?
Well, the timing, again, like I talked about the last time I was on, it's kind of like this is what happens after WrestleMania usually every year. It just happens to coincide with a pandemic that is causing even more budget cuts. and some guys who may have still hung on, like Joe Hennig, would have still been on. But in this case, I think that's part of the reason. But
when I say timing too, though, when I say timing in this case, I also mean like I don't want to like I don't mean this in a weird mean way, but like why was this separate from like the other 30? Like why do they go okay?
Well, don't they usually do it in waves, so it's not just like everybody?
So far, I mean, unless there's more, I mean, if this still trickles over the next couple of weeks, then all right. But it just seemed weird to go.
Maybe they
on one day.
Maybe they went, oh well, shit, we forgot about Joe.
Yeah,
like they get rid of him real quick.
You know, like the Canyon Seaman, whoever the talent guy was like, Vince, I never called Curtis. He was on page 2. I didn't know there was 2 pages.
Curtis Axel. Who the fuck is Curtis Axel?
I just thought it was weird that it was like 30 people, and then all of a sudden, and then him 2 weeks later.
Curtis Axel, by the way. I've always, I'm a pushover, so I like most people, but I liked Curtis Axel. He's a good wrestler. He's got a lot of potential, and I think in the right place, used the right way, he would be a star because I think he's got that. Just like I don't know if he's on the level of his father. There's very few Kurt Hennigs in the world.
I mean, so, that's a big praise. Yeah, no one on that level almost.
But I do think that wherever he ends up, whether it be AEW perhaps or NWA or whatever he ends up doing, if he stays in professional wrestling, then I think he's gonna excel at it because he's just got that in him.
And they toyed around with his name a couple of times. He debuted in FCW. He was Joe Hennig, and then they had Michael McGillicuddy. That's a real world title name.
Joe Hennig, though. I get the whole Curtis Axel paying tribute and stuff, but that didn't work very well for Rocky Maivia either.
Oh yeah. Good point. But no, that's what I was about to say. You went from Michael McGillicuddy to Curtis Axel. Joe Hennig, I think, is what you should just went with. I felt like there was that weird period where it's like they were hiding it. Like, even remember when Charlotte Flair was just Charlotte for a while? Like, it almost felt like they didn't want to. I don't know. Like,
I was thinking about that a little bit today too because I was watching NXT and Charlotte Flair had a fantastic match on NXT this week with Mia Yim. And I was thinking about that, and I think for a while, and rightfully so, because this is the way they should have done it, especially until she was able to get to where she's at now. Distancing herself from her dad was the way to go. Even though it's unavoidable, obviously. She's the daughter of Ric Flair. But once I think she became comfortable in her own skin and because she's being Ric Flair. She is without a doubt being Ric Flair out in that ring. She gets to be Ric Flair, though, because she's Ric Flair's daughter. But she's also Charlotte Flair, which I think when that brought in that Flair name, finally, she was able to take that almost like an amalgamation and take the Queen Charlotte and bring in the Nature Boy Ric Flair, mesh them together, and that's how she's got where she's currently at, which I think is a great mesh of both of those kind of characters. So I think we, like what you're saying, she was just Charlotte for a little while, and then they finally, she finally became Flair, even though everybody knew her.
No, that's true. There might be a moment of, let them stand on their own, let her create her own little legacy, and then later on can just embrace it and go, yeah, this is who I am. And, there's no doubt
to overtake it. It's happened to people before, it could be a blessing or a curse.
That is true, man. I mean, we've seen a lot of second generation guys, San Martinos, Steamboats. I never really quite get that.
Gagne.
Yeah. Poor Greg.
Greg.
But going back to good old Axel here for a second though here. So I thought he always had potential here. I felt like he was one of those guys that they ran with for a hot second, had a quick IC title run, and then was always just considered.
He was with Paul Heyman for a cup of coffee.
Guy. Yeah, real cup of coffee. A sip of Joe.
Well, that's how he got his name too. He became Curtis Axel when he was with Paul Heyman, didn't he?
I believe so. I mean, definitely around that time, if not, because it was basically that NXT run, and then the Nexus run is McGillicuddy. Then once he came back, he was Axel.
Once he came back and he was with Paul, because I remember Paul brought out Cesaro and then brought him out and said he's Curtis Axel to because of his father and his grandfather. But yeah, no, it's a shame to see him go. But honestly, he hasn't really been doing much. You know, he had B Team, which was
which did, until its defense.
They did everything they could with it, yeah.
B Team, go, and they had the titles for a little bit, and then after that they went right back to just putting everyone else over.
I thought the best time that those two were when they were the Miztourage. That was that was the most fun. I think
that's what I mean.
Chemistry was the best.
You can't say whatever he was given, he didn't try his best and run with.
Exactly, which is why I think he'll do well wherever he ends up next.
In other bummer news, I was actually excited for a second for Apollo Crews. It seemed like they were pushing him. He had the really good match with Alistair. He's in the Money in the Bank match after defeating MVP. And then Monday, they kind of went back on it. They won the 6-man tag, him, Alistair and Mysterio over Andrade, Theory, and Garza. And then he's like, hey, I want that U.S. title match tonight. They set that up. Looked like he might have even won it. If he had won it, I wouldn't have been too surprised. But instead, they went with an injury angle, and now it looks like he's out of Money in the Bank. Kind of a de facto push. I don't know. I'm kind of sad that Apollo's not getting a chance to shine.
There's got to be more to this. I don't know. I'm smelling more to this in Apollo character-wise. I think it's either going to, be that proverbial light the fire under the ass, and it's either going to, make him, fiery baby face or angry heel. So I think that I think this injury angle that they're doing, I still think he might pop in there during the match, during the ladder match. I don't think that they're going to have a replacement between now and Sunday. So I think he'll either at least try to pop in. Maybe he'll be the John McClane moment. Who knows? But there's more to it. I'm sniffing more to it. So maybe the answer will come to us on Sunday.
You are right. This obviously is a storyline injury, the way it's been played out. So, maybe there's much more to it. Maybe he'll help someone else heel-wise win it. Maybe he'll join, I don't know. Who knows? So, let's see. Let's give him some time. Let's see how tomorrow plays out. Let's see.
There's still tomorrow to go. Yeah. There's a lot to be said still for what's going to happen.
I just hope it is what you're saying, and it's not just simply – and
we're going to get him out of here. We're going to push him for a couple of weeks, get him out of here and then bring in somebody else.
Yeah, because that's happened before, man. I even remember, what was it, the SmackDown bragging rights team they put together one time. I'm going back a few years, but they put down the team for bragging rights, and then it got such a lackluster response. The week before, they changed it to a whole nother team. The guys they wanted, no one wanted. And some, I don't know, saddish news. Cain Velasquez also seems like he's gone right now. At least
at the moment. A cup of coffee
for WWE. Yeah, I mean, real cup of coffee. A couple of SmackDown appearances. That very weird, just kind of lackluster match, which might not have been his fault. He was hurt reportedly. So I don't know, a lot of hype. It's only surprising just based on the fact that there was a lot of hype to the signing. He went right in with the top, guy in a match. But at the same time, I don't know. I personally, I'm not. I respect UFC fighters and MMA fighters, but I was never that hyped on him coming in. And
I liked it. I thought it was a cool novelty.
Yeah, and I gotta imagine the release is probably and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he came back later. It might have just been hey, they're paying him to sit and be hurt.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of money to be paying somebody to sit at home.
This definitely seems like
he isn't Brock Lesnar. No offense to Cain Velasquez, but he isn't Brock Lesnar.
Oh, no, I mean, he didn't have the time to even get there, man. I mean, he had one match where he was hurt. And that might have killed a lot of the momentum he might have.
He is a former world heavyweight champion, though. So,
Is he not? Okay. Well, that's right. Wasn't that the gimmick that he
beat Brock Lesnar?
Gimmick, it's gimmicked. But,
that's right.
I thought this was kind of interesting. Because it's how I feel. Just as a small tidbit from an interview, Mike Bennett, the former Mike Kanellis, he said he liked the storyline of him and Murray were doing with it. The only problem he had with this is the problem I had with it is that there was no payoff.
That's the biggest problem. It reminds me. I listen to the 83 Weeks podcast once in a while, and sometimes I'll hear Eric Bischoff talk about how WCW always had shit endings and how their finishes and their payoffs are always garbage. And I think that's a hole that WWE has fallen into far more often than not in recent times, and it's led to things like people who should have gotten over, like Mike Bennett and Ray Kanellis. But you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
It's even to the point now to where I'm skeptical of giving them my passion and my input, and in fear of it not paying off, because we just see it so often. I don't know who did it.
Lackluster responses when there are crowds, people, because
you just know. I mean, even
this is going to end in 2 weeks without anything happening.
Even the other marital cuckolding story of Rusev and Lashley just kind of drifted down. And
that had potential to be freaking awesome too.
They brought Liv in, and then she had kind of a 2-minute match with Lana, and then that's done. Yeah. There's a great video. I forgot who made it, if it was the What Culture guys or whoever, of just multiple things in 2019 that was dropped. Remember Mojo had like lightning strikes on his face, talking to the mirror. Went nowhere.
All of a sudden, he's hype again.
He went back to the hype dude, because
Brock shows up and he's hype again.
You had Daniel Bryan. There was like 2 weeks where he was like, I got a big announcement. And then he came to the ring and he couldn't say it and he left. And then the next week he came out and they set up a tag match and they forgot about it. Yeah. Do you remember the hot second where Shelton Benjamin was doing the whole looking around stupid thing? Yeah. And they were asking him a question. What the fuck was that?
We have no fucking clue what we're doing this week. Just do something.
I don't think they knew. I think that's a good point. I think they went, shit, we're behind 40 seconds. Shelton, you're not doing nothing.
Look around the room all crazy like.
Stare around the room. Have your eyeballs roll left, right, up, down. Thanks. And then
perfect. Of course, that's such good shit.
Such good shit, Shelton. This will totally pay off. And then, of course, you could argue there was an ending, but the whole Eric Rowan and the mystery box.
Yeah.
What a great 4 months of build to 2 weeks of whatever.
Was it 4 months, really? Or you'd be?
I don't know. I'm throwing that out there. But it was several weeks, because, it
was several weeks, definitely.
He had jobbers, and then he had the No Way Jose's. Like, it was at least 2-3 months of, what's in it? What's in it?
Yeah, because I always remember when I was putting my notes down, I was like, Rowan once again with a weird cage.
No.
Still nothing.
Rumors have it tonight that the Phenomenal One may be back on Raw. That'd be cool. I guess he's not dead, so that's good.
You think he got a haircut? And he's he's gonna look like old school AJ. Yeah.
I hope so. I've been thinking that dude's gonna get a haircut for the last 5 years, but hasn't. So
well, the OC's gone now, so he's gonna change himself up. I mean, he's always gonna be the phenomenal AJ Styles, but maybe a different kind of it. He did get buried after all, so he'll be a darker AJ Styles. Maybe he'll be the Crow.
You make a good point of the Crow. You make a good point of if there is a time to kind of refresh a little bit, maybe new gear, maybe new haircut, maybe make him a face again. Now's the time to do it. Definitely. He's got no OC, so he's got no heel backup. Mm-hmm. He's gonna be there on his own. Who knows, man? So we'll see. Maybe tonight on Monday Night Raw. I don't know.
AJ Styles on my television screen is always welcome, though. So
no, absolutely, man. That's one guy that I'll actually give WWE props and say, like, all right, man. Like, there's the fear of, like, is he gonna be?
Beginning they had it right with him. I think.
Is he gonna be lost like some TNA World Champions that have been released recently or not? But no, I mean he had a great debut, and otherwise, like even. Yeah, I can't really say too much bad about what they.
Yeah, no, they recognized exactly who the fuck he was, and didn't want to piss a bunch of people off because he's one of the greatest of all time. And
good.
I don't think that could be. I don't think that
Joe hasn't quite had the run that he could have, but
right. Like, but I definitely think that he has reached those ranks of being amongst the greatest of all time, and he's been a world champion everywhere he's gone. So he's phenomenal for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next.
Isn't he phenomenal?
Very phenomenal.
So here's some stuff that I'm sure Vince is thinking is not such good shit. The Rock's Titan Games is returning this summer, and it's going head-to-head with Monday Night Raw. So they're going to be battling for the ratings against The Rock now.
New and Monday Night Wars with The Rock.
Yeah, with The Rock's time game. So that's interesting here. I thought it was a fun enough show. It's one that I'd watch every once in a while. I don't know if I'd watch every week.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh no! I was just gonna say, what was it? Chelsea Green's manager was on an episode once, Rob Stone. That's what I remember. He lost, by the way, like the first round he was in.
Of course he did.
Yeah, no, it was the one where I can't even explain. I would lose quickly anyway.
So is it like it's an obstacle course thing, right?
Yeah, it's just
watched it. I've seen it. It's like an endurance obstacle course thing.
There's a few different obstacles if they shuffle around, but yeah, it's just you gotta take like a giant ass wooden block and bang a door open, and I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it's all very like strongman and endurance, like kind of things like that. Yeah, it's an interesting watch. I mean, especially for the first, like that's what I mean. To me, it doesn't have a huge repetitive quality, but the first couple are fun to watch to see if the people can get through it.
I like the obstacle course shows like American Ninja Warrior and stuff like that. Those can get a bit too much. I mean, after a few episodes, it gets repetitive, like you said. But
yeah,
but I do enjoy them. I'll have to give it a check. I know that they were hyping it real big when it first started. So.
Yeah, no, check it out. I would say check it out, and if you want, check it out instead of Raw now.
Well, that's what DVR is for, right?
Absolutely, I know. Yeah, that's why, like, to me, there's no wars anymore. Like, I'll get to it later, but
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow morning when I'm having my coffee.
There you go. Poor news for the Usos. Jimmy Uso is out 6 to 9
always
months.
Poor news for the Usos, isn't it?
I know. I felt like they came back not too long ago, right? What, late last year?
Yeah, well, it was after who got the DUI?
You know what? I'll make a dirty honesty announcement right now. I get them mixed up. So
who they are. Yeah,
I get them mixed up, man. I'm bad, man. You think if you get there a decade, I would know Jimmy and Jay, and I don't.
Well, every time I look for they had different haircuts for like a week, and then the other grew in, and it was like, damn it, now I can't tell.
Yeah, that would have helped.
But it's no good. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
No, man, I was just saying, it just feels like they just returned not too long ago, had a couple good matches here. But yeah, unfortunately, it was like Jimmy. I think they said during Mania, actually, and it probably happened. So I'm guessing that means we probably won't see Jay now for a little while. So
yeah, that's unfortunate, especially in a tag division that has always had a lot of talent. But
all right, we're back. We're talking about one of the Usos. And what is it? Jimmy. It's Jimmy who got hurt.
That's who it was, Jimmy. Right? Or was it Jay?
No, it's Jimmy. I'm looking at my notes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. Like I said, it seems like they've been getting a bad break lately, you know?
Yeah.
For one reason or another, whether it's their fault or not. Or I say like I'm talking like they both did bad stuff. Yeah, no, that's too bad. And Roman's not doing anything right now, too. You know? So,
yeah, well, on purpose, right?
On purpose, yeah, no, and I totally understand why. You know, you got something like leukemia, whether it's in remission or not. You don't want to be around something that can.
No, and then that is
your immune system really badly.
Yeah. And then the report is going. Supposedly, they have said, "Hey, no hard feelings. You will not be punished if you feel you don't want to go there." Supposedly, that's the reason we haven't seen Sami Zayn since WrestleMania. Is that supposedly, even he, for whatever reason, said, I really don't want to travel right now. So, hopefully that is true. Hopefully the next time we see Zayn, he's not losing the title automatically.
Right, yeah.
Sorry,
bro. Now it's been the 30 days and you haven't defended it. So
all of a sudden, Roman's being John's and Denzel Dejournette.
That's right. Oh, boy.
So are you watching that AEW? Are you watching these empty arena shows?
I am, unfortunately, I have to report that I have not been watching AEW. I should be. I haven't been. I plan to rectify that. To be honest, to be fair, I haven't been watching a whole lot of wrestling in the last week to 2 or 3 weeks. For me, and it's not because of any other reason, honestly, than it just feels really weird watching wrestling without a crowd.
Okay. I was just say, you must have the time now. Come on.
Oh, I definitely have the time. I mean, I've always had the time, but it is more, I don't know what it is, other than to say that the crowd really, really adds to it. I love watching the matches. I've watched highlights. I've seen how it goes. I'm kind of trying to get myself into this new norm that it's going to be for a little while, and
I tried asking.
I've been following through like results and stuff like that, but I haven't really been watching.
No, I know, man. You're definitely not alone. I was talking to my other friend Dutch, who I do the other shows with, and he's on here sometimes as well. You know, he's in the same boat. He's like, it just doesn't feel the same. You know, like he watched a little bit. He watched Mania, and he'll probably watch Money in the Bank, but hasn't watched much else. Well, if here are some results for AEW.
Yeah, fill me in, man, because I'm just I know that the big thing. What is it? It's well, you tell me. Go ahead. Shit, apparently.
Cody, maybe someday soon. Cody Rhodes defeated Darby Allin in the semifinals for that TNT title. Defeated Musa in a pretty short match, in a no DQ match. The best friends, Chucky T and Trent, defeated Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. I just rewatched Fighting with My Family. Kip Sabian in the background, by the way. He's an extra.
Is he really? I didn't notice that. That's cool.
Yeah, if you're rewatching now, and it's pretty obviously him. Different shots. Sean Spears defeated Baron Black. Brody Lee defeated Marco Stunt, and Lance Hoyt defeated Dustin Rhodes, who bled a little bit in the main event. So it looks like we're gonna have Lance Hoyt and Cody for that TNT title. I can see it going either way. I got to go with Hoyt, though. I got to go with this. I always use that logic of the Young Bucks weren't the first tag champs. Omega didn't win the world title. I don't think Cody's going to grab it.
I don't think the Elite's going to win the first of everything.
Yeah, and Hoyt's been built up so much here, man. Defeating, I think it was Marco his first week, and then Jobber and Colt Cabana in the first round of the tournament. So I think he's been hyped so much that keep going with him, man.
And at least Cody doesn't have the caveat that I'll never go for the TNT title, so he can still go for the TNT.
No, that's why he's in the tournament. And he even said that great hype. One thing that they've been doing more, because like I said, this week there was 3 pretty short matches, all of them in the 2 to 3 minute mark, which AEW doesn't always do. But because of the current climate, they're using more local guys sometimes now. Less people are in that arena. But because of that, there's some really great video packages. Like, they've done a good job when you watch the show, hyping up the tournament, giving you a reason why Darby wanted to win, a reason why Cody wants to win, So, and that's part of the reasons that Cody knows, hey, I can't be world champion. This is my shot at gold and glory.
And I've noticed that AEW is very good at that kind of stuff too, because when they were doing the Road 2s on YouTube, starting up,
it's always been great at that.
I always loved the mixture of it was like a reality TV show to me, and except for it was actually leading to a payoff in professional wrestling, so I thought that was a good mix.
Payoffs in wrestling are always a good thing.
Payoffs are always a good thing. That's right. In every meaning of the word, brother.
Over at Raw, I mentioned earlier, we started off with a 6-man tag. Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, and Apollo Crews defeated Andrade, Austin Theory, and Hector Garza. Then we were promised a triple threat match, so that sounded pretty cool, of Asuka, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler. They just had a big brawl, though, although Nia Jax was, or Nia? Am I saying Nia?
Nia Jax. Nia. You're thinking you got Mia Yim on the brain.
Mia.
And I totally get that.
I was saying Mia Yim often on the brain. Yeah. Nia Jax was kind of sad at the end of that segment, though. Speaking of my boy Denzel Dejournette, I just like saying his name. He lost to Bobby Lashley pretty quickly. Here's what I actually want to talk a little bit more thoroughly about. I want to hear your opinion on booking-wise, because I have my opinion for sure. Liv Morgan defeated Ruby Riott in under 3 minutes and for the 3rd straight time. I don't like that. I mean, on a secular note, I really like Ruby Riott. I feel like she hasn't been pushed as much as she could be. I was happy when she was fighting Shayna for the title, and then they just fed her to Shayna in a very quick match before Mania. And then since then, she got hurt, had a great comeback, and then now it just looks like, she's being fed to Liv. I understand if you want to push Liv, but can she not get one of the 3 wins? Like, I understand, if Liv overall will win the feud, but this has just been Liv, to the point of why even have 3 matches? Just do the 1 or do the 2 and then move on.
Right.
I just don't agree with this book.
It does beat a dead horse a little bit, I think, and I think that I like both women. I think that I was a big fan of the Riot Squad.
Yeah, I'm not trying to diss Liv, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I don't like how much Riot is lost.
But I agree. Yeah, I don't think that it's necessary to beat them. To beat Ruby Riot 3 times in a row without any. I mean, if you wanted to go a rubber match route, then they could have done that. But she beat her 3 straight, and
why even bother?
All that does is it makes Ruby look a little bad. I mean, she's looking good in the match. They're having good matches, even if they are 3 minutes. Apparently, they're still going out there and really giving it to each other, which is what you want to see. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think that's the best way to go about things.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a bummer here, man, when I see stuff like that. The modern-day Maharaja is back. Jinder Mahal defeated Akira Tozawa in under 2 minutes here. Again, I'll say this. Man, poor Tozawa, that's what's weird about watching Raw and SmackDown than watching NXT or 205 Live, because, like, Tozawa's going for the Cruiserweight title in that tournament, and he's having great matches there. And then on Raw, he can't even last 2 minutes. It's a weird counterbalance.
I always loved Tozawa. I've been following Tozawa's career for years, and he's my all-time fave.
A kick-ass dude from Dragon Gate. I was excited when he got signed. I was at 205 Live. I was like, great, that's perfect. I want to say he had a super short run, too, like, even when he had the title.
He did. Yeah, it was a very short run. I think it was only for, like, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, which is weird because then again, I always argue, like, why bother? Like, there's no way you can argue he didn't do good.
I think maybe they were trying to put some prestige on the title and have some names on it, so you could say that you had more than 2 or 3 names and try to get some distance from Enzo Amore.
Then let him hang for a month. I don't know. It was short and nothing, man. And it's funny on the flip coin of the whole counterproductive of the shows. Where is it? Okay, well, we'll talk about it here in a second, actually. Next, we mentioned Andrade defeated Apollo because he had a forfeit. It was a good match up till then. And then technically your match main event was Ricochet and Cedric defeating, I forgot their current names, because they've been around for a while, though. Chase Parker and Matt Martel in a little over 4 minutes. They've been around forever. They were Jagged and Shane Matthews in Canada. They wrestled for Jakara. I like them. I hope they get a fair shake. They're also jobbers on Raw a couple of years ago. That's how they got the jobs. They were like French Canadians, which I think they really are.
Yeah.
But that's what
the little, I don't know what it's called, that little symbol, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, they look like the Quebecers almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost on the flip coin of what I was saying before with Tozawa, after this, they have MVP pop back up. And MVP's was actually on Raw like 3 times. They're using him a lot. He says how he's going to bring back Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne next week to challenge Ricochet and Cedric. So, like, okay, they're actually going to kind of push Vink and Thorne. That's kind of cool. But then Thorne was fed to Dexter Lumis.
Yeah.
So I was like, are they pushing him on Raw or not? Because it just seems weird for them.
They don't have anybody, Jordan. There's nobody there.
They could have used.
They have like 15 people to work with right now.
Was Denzel Dejournette on NXT this week?
They have like 15 people to work with. They're only flying in the big talent for the pay-per-views, or a contract signing. No, man, it is. I totally understand what you're saying, though, but it's you gotta make do, I guess, right? It's such a weird time for wrestling.
What's your opinion? So we got the new heel Gargano and Candice LeRae.
Fuck, dude, I love it. I love it.
She defeated Casey Catanzaro. Good to see Catanzaro still going at it, because we all, for a while there, and she admits that she
retired. Yeah.
She had said, like, I had to really think about it, and she was on the outs for a little while. Here's my question though for you too is. Name of the show is Kayfabe Chats. We all know Kayfabe's kind of dead, but I saw the other day she had like a YouTube like cooking thing with like Tegan Knox or something, and Candice did, and I was like, oh no, you're evil.
Don't do that.
Stop it. You just turned evil. I don't want to see like cupcakes with Tegan Knox.
I don't want this to sound like like it's gonna sound, but it's like my dog. All right, he's a tiny little Yorkshire Terrier, right? And he's really super cute. but he can be really mean sometimes. So sometimes you want to see him really mean and beating up Casey Catanzaro in the middle of the ring and acting all sometimes it's just so adorable that you got to be like, oh. And that's kind of the cooking show. So that's how I'm using the metaphor. She's like my dog.
Well, speaking of someone small and spunky, I definitely want to hear your opinion on this. Drake Maverick defeated Tony Nese to give him a win now in the tournament. Here's what I'm very, very wondering about here. He was released. We saw him cry on Twitter. It was emotional. It was devastating. Then you find out, they're going to let him still compete in the tournament, where they're using this on TV. They're basically mentioning how he's been released, how he's fighting for his job. Last week when he lost to Jake Atlas, he was disheveled in the back, and Atlas gave him a pep talk on YouTube and everything. And do you think, is this all a work? Is Drake Maverick never been released? Is he going to probably win the title? The way this looks, he's got to win the title now. Like, what's going on?
This is when wrestling's the best, though, isn't it? This is when you're like, is this fucking real or is this not real? I don't know. I think that it has every it could very, very well be at work. But if it's not, I think that the people who him being released, they're doing a good job of making him look good on the way out. The underdog story has always been Spud's go-to, and he's always worked it well, whether he's been a heel or a face. So if he goes back into the Indies or wherever he ends up as Rockstar Spud, then he's still going to have that, all right, I at least gave it my freaking best,
It's got to be more than that, though. It's got to be, because how sad is it going to be when he loses and it's just
devastating. It's going to be devastating.
I tried fighting for my job. I gave it my all. Blah. Like, it's not going to end with him just waving away.
Rudy only played one play, man. All right, he only played one play. All right.
I could see him losing and then just being the dude that like still shows up trying to get his job back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they'll do
that. How a guy who really lost his job recently, Heath Slater, did when the draft first happened.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And not even that. Another storyline that could have been fun. They did nothing with.
Heath Slater's going to come back in 2 years, ripped to shit, and he's going to win the WWE Championship.
That's what happens.
It's been going. 3MB, baby.
They get jacked and they win the title.
Yeah, that's how it's happening.
That would be funny.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. Yeah, and then there's a triple threat between them for the WWE Championship, and they're all fucking ready to go.
So the high package, really dramatic music with footage of the 3MB from back in the day.
We're just two men, no one-man band.
Special guest ref Hornswoggle.
That's right, absolutely. He has to have Swoggle there. He's got to have the haircut too.
You mentioned Charlotte Mia Yim had a really good match as well. Some other stuff happened.
Oh my god, yeah, I think that was probably the best match of the night. I liked the main event too, but I really liked Flair and Mia Yim.
No, and it's kind of what I figured they would do with Charlotte, is that she's there and she's even just simply having a good match is putting other people over. Like, I kind of
Flair. That's what I'm saying, right?
No chance in hell. Yeah. But the fact that she had a great
made it look good.
This could be the reason why she could get called up soon, just based on that. Who knows?
Exactly. I think that's the entire reason Flair's in NXT again, is to really get a sense of who's going to work well on Raw or SmackDown next. Yeah. So.
We had over on SmackDown, Daniel Bryan defeated Baron Corbin. Sheamus defeated Leon Ruff. See, there is other guys. He's not even signed. He's an evolved guy. But cool seeing him on there, though, even though, again, quick match.
He lives in Orlando.
No, he does. No, well, actually, he's in Georgia. If I want to
be. Is he in Georgia? Well, yeah.
Because he's an AR Fox guy. So
it's like a 7-hour drive, right? 8-hour drive.
Yeah. He's an AR Fox guy, so I gotta think he's close. But who knows? He crashes someone's house. I don't know. Carmella defeated Mandy Rose. She'll be in the women's, or the altogether Money in the Bank match. Honestly, I'm so used to saying women's Money.
The Money in the Bank. Yeah, the Money in the Bank match.
I'm actually happy that they're actually pushing the Forgotten Sons. They defeated the New Day this week in a non-title match here. So I believe they just set up a Fatal 4-Way tag team match for next Sunday. So that's cool, man. It's kind of what they should have done with Saturday, actually make these guys look credible.
Yeah, I like the Forgotten Sons. They're another three guys who are very intimidating looking that can really go. So once you
Yeah,
get
man.
those two qualities together, and you got a little bit of charisma between the three of them, you got some good things on your hands potentially. And you got them in there with the New Day, and New Day makes everybody look good. So.
No, absolutely, and that should be a really fun, fast-paced match on Sunday. And then, of course, your main event of the night, which this was actually not even just match-wise. This was legitimately what closed the show. Otis
Oh,
Dolph Ziggler in about 8 minutes here. I thought that was funny. Yeah, like the other match, there was
yeah.
stuff that happened on Raw, but yeah, this is legit, and the show ends with Otis just handheld high. So
Hey man, he came a long way. He had to deal with a lot of shit. He had his heart broken, Jordan. I think you can understand as a fellow fat guy. Sorry, but I think you could
and
understand.
just like Otis, at the end of the day, I ended up with the hot blonde. So
Exactly. Me too. Me too. Because that's the way it always happens, right?
absolutely.
But no, it was fun. It was good. That's that's a payoff. There you go. The
Yeah, that's the beginning and end, and
fat
it's still
guy.
kind of going. So now you got the Sonya Mandy Roses kind of
Yeah, there's
kicking
still
off.
stuff. There could be other stories that you can use with, and that's good because that's how feuds work, right? Especially ones you want to keep going for a while. But
Yeah,
no,
I
that
will
was great
say
that it was the main event. Yeah.
although they didn't find enough with the story, the one twist that I would have liked is instead of having Liv and Lana supposedly having an affair, I thought it would have been cool to have a twist of Sonya really wanting to end up with Mandy, and she's
Right.
Mandy.
Well, that's what a lot of people think would have made more sense.
Yeah,
And I think that would make sense too, but also it's almost a little cliche too.
it's
Just
not though. We've never seen
right?
that twist.
Yeah,
It's
I guess so. I guess from that perspective, you're right. We haven't seen it like that.
And that would have been a more respectful, like, I love you, you're wonderful, more than just like,
Yeah,
I'm Liv, and all of a sudden me
I
and you
got
had a
you.
steamy affair. Like, that was Jerry Springer shit. Like, they
That
could have
was
done
very
better
strange. You're
with
right. You're right
with
about that.
with this, But someday we'll get there.
What are you gonna do, right?
I don't know. I
Hey,
know.
we didn't talk about the contract signing for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I write down the matches. I've always forget to write the other stuff down. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's why I'm here, right?
it's some good talking, and then the tables flip like it always does.
He got
So.
to say shit on TV again. See, they're saying shit on the show, and it's still TV PG. So if it's 10:55, you can drop a shit. You just can't drop a shit. You know what I'm saying? So
You drop a shit as long as it's almost 11 o'clock. Yeah,
yes, you can drop a shit as long as man, nothing
and even
about
even on SmackDown was a whole lot of bitch, like the bitch fly.
bitches have been happening a lot, haven't they? And I think the shits are to come. Hopefully, that won't be the drizzling shits, though, right?
And then one day on pay-per-view, the F word. Come on.
Yes, fuck it, right? Fuck it. Throw it out there.
I
Beat
know
Bret Hart on Raw.
MLW lets it fly sometimes.
They do. Dude, they were letting it fly all over their YouTube channel for like at least a month. They were just uncensored. I was like, this is great. All right, cool. Then they went back to censoring. I'm like, what the fuck? Make up your mind, Court. It's probably a monetization thing. He probably was like, oh, we get more viewers and more money for bleeping stuff so we can get more. I don't know. I don't know how
What the bleep?
the YouTube, how do you do this? I don't know. That's where this is going, right? So I don't know.
I'm glad you're aware where this is going.
I know exactly where it's going. Right.
Any other news or notables?
Right into the CIA's hard drive.
Any other news or notables you got for me, man?
Nothing I can think of right now, other than still working on getting my particular podcast back. I've got some things in the works in my head as far as new content and a new way of going about it. So that's happening for me. But as far as wrestling goes, it's what we talked about because there's nothing else happening right now. So and it's kind of weird that there's nothing else happening right now. And it sucks that there's nothing else. We both have friends who are very itching very much to get back out there, and I'm itching for them to get back out there. And once this stuff starts clearing up a little bit and we can start running some shows again. I really hope everybody comes out to support their local pro wrestling and really support the independent professional wrestling community because it's going to need it big time.
I think so, man. I mean, the vibe I'm getting is that everyone, fans, wrestlers, everyone is that we're all itching. So I hope it does. I think it will when we're back out there. Just give it some time, guys. Still, hopefully we're at that trail end. If not, we can still power through it.
Wrestling's not going to go away. I guarantee it. Somewhere, somehow, some way, someone's going to have a ring. People are going to get in that ring and they're going to wrestle. You're not going to stop professional wrestling. It's been around for over 100 years now, 100 however many years. It's going to be around 100 and however many more, at least. So ain't going to be a plague stopping pro wrestling. So.
It will be counted down 1, 2, 3. That's for sure.
That's right.
All right, Corey. So, you mentioned it's coming back. You want to do any plugs before we head off?
Yeah, the podcast. Give it another couple of months. I'm working on an EP right now, a music EP. So my focus is really on that a lot. It's another reason I haven't been watching wrestling a whole lot. I've been writing songs, yeah, there's that. So the podcast, I'm hoping to come around maybe around SummerSlam. I'm getting some new equipment and I'm getting a camera too, so there might actually be visuals to go along with. I might join you on YouTube. Yeah, so other than that, nothing else really happening at the moment. Just enjoying my time with my son, who is home all the time now, and which is very nice. But he's 11, so yeah, no, other than that, you can follow me on Twitter at Composition4. That's my personal account. You can follow the show 1,000,001, a pro wrestling podcast. You can follow that on Twitter at 1,000,001WP. That's 1,000,001 WP with the number 1 in each spot. So, but that's it. So nothing much. Just talking to you. It's the highlight of the week, Jordan.
Oh, stop it. It's always a pleasure, my man.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure being here, man. I always have fun.
Absolutely, man. Good to always talking some wrestling with you. The number 1 sport of all time. Same thing here. Follow me on Twitter, JPierceO. Of course, follow this channel if you're not already. Subscribe, all that jibber jabber. As you know, we just uploaded an interview with Ron Nemi, the hardcore giant, the owner of IPW. You've heard him on Evolve Commentary. Great interview. We went almost 2 hours. It's already getting a lot of talk online, so check it out if you haven't already. We got Aaron Nova coming up next week on the show. Lots more planned. Draven Frost is planned. Previous episode.
Get me out an episode with one of these wrestlers, man, and let me pick their brains too.
Oh, I'll have to invite you in there, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, throw me in there. It looks like I'm trying to get some work too, guys. I'm trying to get some work too.
And of course, also the Pierce Code channel if you want to hear me jibber jabber about movies and television as well, and talk with some stand-up comedians. Guys, this was Kayfabe Chats, Corey C4, JPO, Jordan Pierce Owens, and as always, guys, keep it kayfabe.